Johnson. I'm going to be your Algebra 1 teacher for the 2020-2021 school year, and I'm looking forward to doing that. Hello. So this is my family. My name is Christiana Johnson. I'm your Algebra 1 teacher for this year. This is my 6th year at Temple High School, and my 9th year teaching in all. Might have taught some of your siblings. I teach pretty much every grade level at this point. I love math and hope that by the end of the year, you will too, just a little. I have 3 daughters. The first one is Athena. She's right here. She's 21. She is in college. And then Gabby is my next oldest. She is 11. And then Serena has just turned 10. We also have 3 dogs that are not pictured. I have 2 huskies, Hitachi and Pepper, and a little Cairn Terrier whose name is Toto. You can find me. The best way to contact me is through Schoology, the messenger, or you can call my desk phone, which is 254-215-7126. So more about me. I like to be called Miss J or Miss Johnson. I don't really go by the Mrs. thing. I'm not married anymore. My favorite genre of music is anything except rap. I do like the music from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, pop, and instrumental only music. In my class, I do play music on occasion, and once in a while, I'll be nice and I'll let you guys listen to rap, but I prefer R&B or one of those choices. But whatever is chosen to be played in my class has to be on my Pandora list, so if it's not there, sorry. I attended college in both in-class and online class courses, so I am very familiar with being in this online, trying to do things at home, as well as being in the classroom and having to learn from there. So just be aware that regardless of what you're thinking you're going through, I probably have been there too. So I am very understanding, so let me know if you have any issues or concerns. So course syllabus. First of all, I want you to know that finding a treasure is like working on algebra equations. All you have to do is find the x. And in algebra, that's what we do most of the time, is find the x. So course description, algebra is the study of linear and quadratic expressions, equations, and inequalities, and how those concepts can be represented by functions, graphs, tables, to represent real-world mathematical situations. And believe it or not, you use algebra in the real world. So we're going to see how that happens. So a year at a glance. The first semester, we're going to do units 1 through 6. The second semester, we're going to do units 7 through 12. So that's going to kind of give you an overview. If you look at the actual syllabus, which is posted on Schoology, you'll see what the actual unit titles are for each one of those. So for supplies and textbooks, supplies needed. You need a 1.5 inch 3-ring binder. Notebook paper, very, very important. We're going to use a lot of it. Graph paper, because we do a lot of graphs, and it's much easier to draw a graph on graph paper than it is to try to draw a graph on notebook paper. Pencils, colored pencils for doing graphs in different color, and highlighters. Highlighters are very important because when you're doing word problems, I will have you highlight parts of your anything you write down in your notes, emulating what you will do on assignments. We use an online textbook. Our textbook is an online edition that can be accessed 2 ways, either through my.hrw.com, or there is an HMH player app already on your Chromebooks. All you have to do is click that little circle button at the bottom of your screen and then look for the HMH player app. Your username and password is the same regardless of which way you access it. It is going to be your first name dot your last name at gcloud.tisd.org, and your password is the same as your Chromebook password. Chromebooks are expected to be charged when you come to class. I do have some charging station areas. However, with the way that my room is set up, it's kind of hard to get extension cord to everybody. So please have your Chromebook charged before you come to class. If you charge overnight, then your Chromebook should last the entire day. The use of Chromebooks in the classroom will be for instructional purposes only and under the direction of me. Basically, if you are on anything that I haven't authorized, you're not doing what I asked you to. So make sure you stay on task. Our grading policy is daily grades, which consist of mostly Schoology or HMH assignments, are 60% of your grade. We will have either a test or a quiz pretty much every week. Quizzes count for 15% of the test of your grade, and then tests count for 25% of the grades. Tests and quizzes are only given on Tuesdays, just so you know. That's kind of a school policy now. If you're at home, they are doing the online remote learner. Just be aware that tests and quizzes, or tests at least, are going to be proctored. So there's some things that will be set up for that. And most of the tests and quizzes will be in Schoology. Some of them may be in HMH. Daily assignments include daily activities, warm-ups, and homework assignments. Late assignments will be accepted until 2 days before the reporting period for a max grade of 70. So a reporting period means either progress reports or report card. So everything that is assigned prior to progress reports, I will accept it 2 days up to basically that Wednesday before progress reports are supposed to come out, and everything the Wednesday before report cards are going to come out. That gives me a couple of days to catch up on grading and make sure your grades are updated. But the max grade you will get is a 70 if it's late. If you're late because of being absent, you get the same number of days to make up your work as you are absent. And you need to make sure to let me know ahead of time so that we can put a note on the assignment to allow for that. There are at least 2 assessments per grading period. Makeup tests must be scheduled for after school within 2 days of returning to school. The reason for this is because I have after school activities going on. I have after school meetings that I have to deal with, so I need to be able to schedule what's going on. But I also want you to get it made up as quickly as possible because in class we will be moving on. I want you to be able to get your testing done for past information as quickly as possible. I apologize for the picture. Okay, hold on. I'm going to close my picture. Okay, test corrections will be allowed for all students for recovery of half the credit. So after we take a test, if you would like to do corrections, you can earn back half your points from any incorrect problem. There is a process that you'll go through to do that. And once you've done that, then I will raise your grade half the points for every correct answer that you've done corrections on. So even if you have a grade below a 70, you can still raise your grade higher up to or higher than a 70. And those of you that made better than 70s can still get a higher grade as well. So my rules are pretty simple. First one is be on time, ready to work with all necessary supplies. Your Chromebook, paper, pencils. At your desk, you should also be grabbing the TI Inspire and have that at your desk as well. Follow the electronic device procedure, which I'll go over on the next slide. Basically, no cell phones in class for any reason whatsoever, and that includes listening to music. Take responsibility for actions, your language, and your learning. I expect you to act as the pre-adults you are. So language is a big thing for me. I understand sometimes languages can be, we make a mistake and say the wrong word. That's okay once in a while, but not all the time. You should be able to, follow the rules and be respectful of yourself and others. Show respect through using appropriate language, having good behavior, and adhering to personal space. This is especially important because of the COVID-19. As you'll notice when you come to class, my classroom is set up with as much spacing as possible in a very small space. So it is very important that you maintain your personal space and keep your hands to yourself. Okay, remain in your seat or your designated area until given permission to move about the room or until dismissed by the teacher. Again, due mostly to COVID-19, I will dismiss the class. I will not dismiss the class if everybody's trying to stand up and move around. It's not going to happen. And if you do need to sharpen your pencil, I need you to let me know so you know, it's just for safety reasons. Okay, consequences. So the first time I have to remind you of one of my rules. I'll just give you a warning. We might set up a behavior agreement, or I might change your seat, something like that. The second time, I will be calling your parent, and we may have to modify the parent agreement, the behavior agreement, or put one in place. And the third time would be a referral to the assistance principal. So 3 strikes and you're out. Hopefully not in the same class period. However, I do want you to understand that I don't hold grudges, so I will be more willing as long as it's not the same thing happening over and over again. Most of the time, the only thing I write up for most of the time has more to do with the electronic device than anything else. So I think you guys will be fine. Okay, for tardies, for 4th and 5th periods only, because of the lunch schedule, students will need to sign into my tardy log when you're entering. Make sure you put the date and the time. I will check. And at your third tardy, I will give you a warning. Hey, by the way, that's your third tardy today or this week, this 6 weeks. So just be aware. On the 4th tardy, I have to call your parents. And on the 5th tardy, that's a referral. After your 5th tardy, it's referral every single time. So let's not have tardies during 4th or 5th period. They make a lot of, they become a real problem. Okay, so electronic policy. Cell phones are to be turned off and placed in a cell phone station in the front of my room immediately upon entering the classroom. This is adhering to our EOC policy, which is that cell phones have to be turned off and turned in when you enter a room for the EOC. It's the same policy. I'm just enforcing it for the rest of the school year. The reason why the cell phones have to be turned off is because sometimes they ring or they flash or something like that and it becomes a distraction. So I'm asking every student to turn off your phone immediately upon entering the classroom. If you really, really need to make a phone call, do it during the passing period. If it's something else, if it's an emergency kind of thing, you need to speak to me directly. Say you have something, a situation with your family or something like that, please let me know. I'm pretty nice about things, but I need to know in advance. Okay, thank you. So no cell phones in the classroom. Bookmarks some websites. On the first day of schools, we're going to bookmark several websites. The first one's clever.com. This kind of holds over from the elementary school and middle schools. It is a one-stop shop for all of these different apps that we are going to use. Therefore, it's kind of like if you can't remember what the URL is for something, you just go there and click a button. It's an icon system. So it's really easy to remember. Schoology, elearning.tisd.org. Freshmen, just FYI, we do not use Google Classroom anymore. We use Schoology. So this is the one-stop shop for all your assignments, for your notes and everything else, pretty much everything else. So I would bookmark that immediately at the top of your screen. So when you open up your Chromebook, it's immediately available to you. HMH textbook is my.hrw.com. Again, you can also access it through an app. This is where you'll actually do most of your daily assignments. Khanacademy.org is a website that we'll be using for additional practice, or I may send you there for some different videos that you might need to review. Edpuzzle is the website that we'll be using where you'll access videos about our notes, examples. They are going to be graded, so it is someplace you'll be basically going to at least once or twice, every other day, possibly every day. So nurses passes. Passes will be given to go to the nurse, the front office, the library, but sorry, no restroom passes. Due to no COVID-19, restroom passes cannot be given out this year unless it is an absolute emergency. If it's that much of an emergency, I will most likely send you to the nurse. Be aware that the nurse is going to take your temperature and such. So probably don't want to go unless it's really an emergency. Okay, so remote learners, this is specifically for you. On Mondays, there is a mandatory face-to-face virtual meeting that it will last 20 minutes from 9:20 a.m. to 9:40 a.m. You are required to come on to the team meeting and participate. During that team meeting, I will go over some notes. We may do some of the activities that we'll be doing in class for practice purposes and reinforcement. I will also do reviews on those days, the day before the test. It is a mandatory required face-to-face, and it is between 9:20 to 9:40. I have 3 classes this year, 3 different preps, so the time for Algebra 1 will be from 9:20 to 9:40. If for some reason you can't make that meeting, I need you to send me an email or a Schoology message immediately, and we have to make arrangements for a different time on a different day. On Thursdays, the other day you could actually have a face-to-face, I will have virtual office hours by appointment through Schoology. You can make the appointment between 9:20 and 9:40 or after school time frame between 4:15 and 5. These are by appointments. That way I'm only working with 1, maybe 2 students at one time. But this time on Thursday is optional unless you missed Monday. So that's the only time you'll absolutely have to be there on Thursday is if you missed a Monday meeting. So weekly and daily assignments. Every single day, everybody, whether you're in class or at home on remote, will do a daily mandatory check-in. It is a Schoology folder and it is for your attendance. For those of you in class, just FYI, sometimes I make mistakes on attendance. It happens. This is how I'm going to double check. You have 24 hours to make sure that you have checked in on that daily check-in if you're a remote learner. You have the class period to do it if you're in class. Weekly playlist, we will have several different assignments that you'll have to do every week. There'll be lesson videos on Edpuzzle, possibly 1 to 3 at most. There'll be lesson assignments, again, 1 to 3 at most. These are going to be in the HMH online textbook. And then quizzes, which will be on Schoology. And then every other week or so, we'll have a test instead of a quiz. So tests and projects and quizzes. Formative assessments will be given at the midpoint and at the end of each unit on Tuesdays. Remote learners will take their test using a proctored system through Schoology. In-class students will take their test in class through Schoology. Reminder, students who miss a test are required to schedule a makeup test within 2 days of returning to class. The makeup test will only be given during after-school hours. So thanks. And if you have any questions, you can send a message to me through Schoology. I will also have a frequently asked question folder where I will kind of like grab questions that I keep hearing, and I will put them in there with the answers. So you can find me at, here's my email address, christiana.johnson@gcloud.tisd.org. My school phone number is 254-215-7126. Or you can send me a message through Schoology or Messenger. Just FYI, I have conference hour early in the morning, so I may not be able to reply immediately, but I will reply within 24 hours. If it is an assignment question and you are really stuck, take a screenshot of the question, send it to me through Schoology Messenger or through my email. Both of them go to my phone. So even when I'm at home, I can answer those questions. I just need to know what question you're working on. Okay, but after 5 o'clock at night, I will not be able to to meet virtually with you. I have other stuff. My daughters are doing soccer.